Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Live in 5, baby. Auzzo, Jay Swish. Folks, we are back. Auzzo down in the chin of Fort Myers. I believe he saw the most dangerous man in Florida and or Fort Myers on the weekend, and that is Cam Youngstung Johnson. But before we get into that, we are always brought to you by Mini Movers. Mini Movers, the official moving company of Live in 5, as well as Butter Golf. Butter Golf, the official merchandise and apparel brand of Live in 5. This is episode 85 on Cinco de Mayo. So we're going to call this one the Ocho Cinco, as well as tied into a little bit of a mailbag episode, Auzzo. So we're going to take some questions from the people. No guests this week, but we're going to answer some questions out there for the people. So Ocho Cinco, Carl, I guess the mailman, Malone, minus the 15-year-olds that he touched. That's what we're going to call this one. We're going to do a little mailbag. We're going to open it up to the people. We probably have 10 to 15 questions, so we'll take a few of those. But in saying that, Auzzo, episode 85, brother, Cinco de Mayo, how are we feeling? Are we recovered from the weekend? It looked like it was not only, our crew of dudes down there, but a rather Sioux-like weekend with the coaching staff even.
Yeah, it was, well, to answer your first question, Jordo, I'm not fully recovered yet. Eyes are a little heavy. Eyelids are a little heavy today, right now.
To be expected.
Just not the best sleep. Didn't prioritize sleep on the weekend. Let's just say that.
Right.
So it'll take a day to get it back. I got a good night's rest last night, but you always need a couple of those to get back to normal.
Yep.
But it was funny, Jordo. So we planned this. Keaton Thompson, Paul Adu, Luke Johnson, myself planned this last weekend. We're just like, hey, let's go golf somewhere. I had a spot to stay in Fort Myers. Flights were pretty cheap there, so we're like, let's just go golf in Florida. It'll be nice weather. So I get to the airport in Minneapolis to get on my plane, and I run into Patrick Swanson. And I'm like,
Patrice,
what the hell are you doing here? Jeans are fine. What are you doing here? He's like, oh, we got the coaches meeting down there. I'm like, no way. And Chiswick bumps me on the shoulder. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? So I see Chiswick, and then I see Dane Jackson, and then I see Dylan Simpson. And they're headed down for the NCHC coaches meeting down in Naples, Bonita Springs, Fort Myers area. So it was pretty funny getting on the plane, Jordan, because I walk on the plane with those guys, and all the other NCHC coaches are on this flight. So I'm walking on the plane with the UND coaches, and obviously UND's still got to hire another assistant. Everyone's waiting for him to announce it. So I walk on with the boys, and I'm thinking, like, all these other coaches are like, holy shit, did they go out and hire old Auzzo? Is he assistant?
Did they take him from Mini Movers? Is he coming back up to be the associate? What's going on here?
And then I was like, nope, they just bring the big donors and boosters. I actually demanded a flight down to the coaches. I demanded a seat at the table at the coaches meeting just because of all my hard work I do for the university and all the money I put forth to the university. So, no, it was pretty funny. And what are the odds we went down there that same weekend? So, of course, on Saturday, once they had wrapped up a lot of their meetings, we had to go meet up with them.
Yeah.
Like, I just had to. But, yeah, we had a great time. It was Florida golf. You're playing the, what do they call that grass down there? Bermuda?
Yeah, the old Bermuda, little sticky.
It's tougher on the greens. You're pulling out the Texas wedge more often. But, God, it's fun playing down there.
How'd you hit them?
First round we played, I shot a 79, which for me is really good.
Yes. Anytime you can break 80.
Yeah, and then I think I got an 82, which is still a good round. The next round, and then Friday night we played a twilight round. That one wasn't shooting for score as much, Jordo. That was we were having a good time out there.
Well, was that the round where the tarps came off, or what round was that? Was that early in the week?
That was gosh, what was that? No, that was the Friday. Sorry, I was talking about Saturday. That was the Friday round. The second round, we scrambled, and that was when we started scrambling. We had some beers and the tarps came off. It was hilarious. Shoes off, tarps off, nice course. We got members of the course driving by in their cars, honking at us like, fucking put your shirt on. We're just dying laughing. Like, this is our course now, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having us, bud. We're actually going to double loop this thing. We're going to play till about 10 p.m. We got the neon nuggets in the bag too, just in case she gets dark out here, we'll be able to see them.
Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, so we did that, tarps off, and then we had a good round Saturday before we met up with those guys. And then we actually played Sunday, Jordan. I think I shot a 120.
Oh, what were you thinking there? Just getting your money's worth?
Yeah, we had it booked. It was a really nice course. We're like you couldn't back out because we had already paid for it. So we're like, God, we got to go play. I honestly think I had one par, and then the rest were triples, quadruples, doubles. I mean, I think I was like the second best score out of the group. Like, it was just stupid for us to be out there, but.
So you played that round, and then on Friday or Saturday night, you went and checked out the Everblades game.
Friday night.
Did you surprise Young Stung? Did you even tell him you were going to the game, or you just show up like right in the tunnel there and we're dapping him up?
We were golfing, and Cameron's like, hey, do you guys want tickets to the game? Because I was asking him, if he could get us on any courses. He's got some connections down there. And he's like, you guys want to come to the game? And I'm like, yeah, Cameron, you know us. Like, we're probably not going to make her. But if it's no skin off your back to set aside a couple tickets, I mean, we might make it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
see how this goes.
We go with the wind, that. So I don't think he expected us to be there. We showed up that when we were knocking him up, it was for the second. So we caught like the last 10 minutes of the first, and then we're like, we gotta go down to the tunnel and give him knucks when he's skating out, because he had no idea we were at the game. And he comes walking out, and we're all obviously, we got the shades on still, we're in the golfing outfit, and we're just screaming like, let's go, Cameron. And he's just fucking dying laughing. Like, no way. He was so fired up. He was so pumped.
That's so sick. Did they end up getting the win too? He's one of those goalies too where he could see that and he could just totally remove himself from actually like being focused or playing, and then get back to the net and actually be better because he knows the boys are there. So he's going to play a little harder.
Oh yeah. They won both games on the weekend. We didn't go to the Saturday game, but they killed him on Friday, which is awesome to see him get a win. Of course, guys in the playoffs again. He's a sheriff of Fort Myers as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it was great to get to see him play. Guy's a father now. He had his kid there and his wife. So
yeah, the old Sonny Koufax. He's a dad. He's looking pretty good. I don't know, Cam Johnson being your dad that's a story in itself. I love it. He'd be a great dad, but I could see him just going full Koufax, like his kid pisses the bed for the first time. He just lays down the newspapers, right? Like Cameron, he's an all-time beauty. Hey, for the people that don't know too, like he's been lighting that league up. I mean, we've had him on the show. It was about this time last year, and he's a guy that's, been a 4-time MVP, I believe, or goalie of the year, 3-time playoff MVP, and won 3 championships, and they've won 3 in a row. They're going for the 4-peat, Auzzo, and they'll probably do it if they have that guy backstopping them.
No, they got a great chance. I don't know who's going to beat them. Living in that town, playing in the coast, I mean, you can't ask for more. I mean, obviously they got an advantage doing that. But Cameron, he just looks so at ease back there, like he's in a constant flow state. Like he's got the perfect amount of confidence in himself now, where he's like, you can tell he's not worried about anything. He's got no, like, when you're playing, especially being a goaltender, your confidence is probably everything. And he's got that part locked in, man. Like he looks so smooth. It looks like he was never out of position. He was moving so easily. God, he just looked good, man.
Yeah, he's silky, and he's just one of those guys, and you don't know why he has so much confidence, but you kind of do understand. It's like nothing is going to beat that guy, and especially in a big game. And I just love, for the people that didn't listen to him on the show last year, he came on and was basically runs the fucking team. He like tells his coach when the boys are going to go out. He was in Adirondack before game 3. They had lost, like they just got their shit pushed in at home. I think the series is at 1-1. He's like, yeah, we're got a game tomorrow night. Boys are going to slide to the casino, have a couple pops, and then, get home and shake it off in the morning and then go win a hockey game. And that's exactly what they did. Like, so it's just like, this is the same guy that told John Tortorella after a summer that, let's face it, John, I went on a bender, and that's why my 2-mile test for the run wasn't perfect. I went on a bender. Let's face it. I've been on bend. So you always right. You always got to appreciate that honesty. And I think, by default, sometimes that maybe gets him in trouble, but it shouldn't, because he's one of the realest dudes out there. Auzzo, I wanted to ask you, man, what's the plan for UND with their new assistant? Did we dive into the weeds of that? Is there anything you can share on that front? Obviously the search is active, but do we have any leads? You don't have to name any names, but are we getting close?
I think they are close from what it sounded like. I'm not one, because I know I have so many people asking me this question. So I try not to even ask it myself to these guys, because they know I talk to people and I don't want to, mess anything up. But I was actually trying to ask them, Jordan. I was like, so you guys got any leads? Who's it going to be? They wouldn't give me anything. Just from the fact that they haven't announced it, Jordo, to me, that means it has to be either Brad Malone or Matt Smaby, because those two guys are still coaching right now. If it was anyone else and they're not coaching still, you'd want to have that guy named at this point, right? Just for recruiting purposes and moving forward. So to me, it's up in the air between Pony Malone and Matt Smaby. And I was just thinking, putting those two guys up there as your options. I'm thankful I don't have to pick, because how do you pick between one of those guys to be the coach? That's a tough call.
Yeah, I mean, both really good candidates. Obviously, Pony Malone played for Jax. I don't know, Schmaby, I don't think he did. I think he was there a little bit before Jax got there, but obviously Pony is an unbelievable dude. Schmaby could be a college head coach easily.
Oh yeah.
He's very smart, and I got to know just, him a little bit over the years, especially his last few years playing. He would come up to pro camp at UND and skate with the fellas, and then he got into coaching, and he's a highly qualified guy in terms of he would almost be overqualified if we got him. And then Pony Malone's a guy that stepped into a head coaching job in the Ontario League and has done a great job in Oshawa. So those are both good picks. And the thing I love most about it, Auzzo, is they're both alum. They both played at the university. You know how much we side with those guys that have been in the locker room and just know the feel of not only on campus, but just different questions about the team and the culture, their tradition, and bleeding green. So those would be some great picks. But man, what a beauty coaching staff down there at the coaches meeting. Holy fact. You got Chiswick, you got Jax, and then you got Simmer to kind of keep it on the screws there a little bit. You know what I mean? He's almost like the dad in a sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a great crew. Great staff. I think they're going to do really well. Yeah. It was fun to see him. It was hilarious. Obviously all the coaches are at the hotel, at the place. We were sitting around having some drinks, and they see me, Tomer, and Dewey and LJ walk in, and none of the other teams, have alumni sitting there having beers with their coaches, but all the Nodak guys are sitting there having a good time. And
right.
So it was a cool statement to make.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that one year, the story like years ago when Rico Blasi was trying to hang out with the UND staff, and I think he might have ended up passed out on a tee box. You know what I mean? He couldn't hang with the big boys. You know what I mean? I think he was trying to go beer for beer with old Hack and Jax back in the day. And
good luck.
I think he ended up tits up on about tee box number 8. I don't even think he made the turn. You know what I mean? I think it was one of those where it was like, fuck, the shots kept coming, the beers. Maybe there's a couple shotguns. I wasn't there. I know the story of old Rico over at Miami. Couldn't hold his own when it came to the old school North Dakota boys, and that's just a legendary story. I think someone actually told me that from another coaching staff, confirmed.
Yeah.
So that was a great story back in the day. But Auzzo, I went over the Buffalo Chip this weekend, and not only was there some Live in 5 faithful over there, some Hockey Night in Scottsdale people, but friends of the show. There was actually a crew from Grand Forks in town.
Really?
And they said, what up? Yeah, they were cool dudes. I don't know their names, but I was shit-faced, but they looked familiar. And there was about probably 8 to 10 dudes. You would know their names if you saw them. I just was, drinking, and it kind of just got lost. But I said what up to them. There was some ASU hockey guys there. So the Chip, remember we went there over a golf trip, is the old professional bull riding.
Place is all time.
Oh yeah. And this weekend, like I've been there probably 15 times, Auzzo, in the 5 years that I've lived here. And I've never really seen anyone get banged up. And, there's amateur riders, $40 in an NDA, as well as just signing a waiver gets you on a bull. Like me or you could go up there. I remember Connor Gorder was in the chute. He had the gear on. And
he had the full gear on.
And he stood up on the fence line, and he was on the saddle, and they deemed him too drunk. Like he had the 4,500 bucket on. I still have the picture on my phone. And the judge deemed him too drunk. So there's always amateurs riding. There's probably, on a given night, there's probably 7 to 10 guys that are either drunk or high, and they want to get up there and ride a bull and tell everyone they did it. So that's what they do. But this particular time, and especially the first round, the rounds coming at 8:30, 9:45, and then there's 10:30. In the first round, Auzzo, like I had never seen that many guys get banged up. One dude got stepped on by a bull. The other guy got his horns put into his ribs. He was down for I want to say 8 to 10 minutes. Like it was, they were getting seriously banged up in Cave Creek. And, it's, you hate to see it, but that's the game, right? If you're trying to go 8 seconds, that's the game.
You play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes.
Yes, you do. But I had an all-time fit on. I went in there with a bandana do-rag. I had a Harley Davidson cutoff, and I went Crocs, camo Crocs. And let me tell you, I wasn't in the top 100 guys in terms of being the top 100 guys, the toughest guys in that bar, but I felt like it. There's some nail guns walking around there at the Buffalo Chip.
Oh, yeah. Great crowd there. You got some birds there.
Yeah.
You got some. I loved your outfit, by the way, Jordan. That was an all-time outfit. You looked like you fit in. Yeah. It's like you're almost wearing a costume.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's basically what, guys like us do when you're going to a place like that. You're basically every night's like Halloween when you're going out, like whether it's wigs, race car jackets, do-rags, cutoffs, jean shorts. Yeah, I cut those jean shorts myself that day because I was actually gonna wear my cowboy boots with the jorts, but then I'm like, that's too loud. Like if you're a dude, you can't wear the cowboy boots, the shit kickers, unless you have the jeans on, right? I just think it's a bad look. Like girls can do it, but I don't think guys, and especially if you're going to the Chips, I'm like, what other kind of nail gun shoes do I have? I'm like, I can't wear like a pair of Nike Dunks or something. So I just went Crocs.
That was a good play. I liked the Crocs play.
Yeah. And there's so I'm sitting there at the Chip, and there's this kid that wasn't there, but he's an avid listener of Live in 5. I'm not going to name his name because I don't know how this works with doxing guys, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus. But Auzzo, he's between going to UND and the Gophers, and he's an avid listener, so I'm sure he's going to hear this. And he reached out or whatever, just kind of talking about is he a good player? Where should I go? This and that. So I did a little bit of my homework and kind of asked around on this kid. He loves the show, and I was able to get his number. And I texted him about probably 4 tequilas deep. And I sent him a text. I said, hey, fella, like, I'm not telling you what to do. And he loves the line low and slow, by the way. Like, he loves low and slow, chin tucked. He loves the terminology. So I texted him basically, and I just said, hey, here you're thinking about going to either North Dakota or Mini. Both of them great schools. But if you're going to be a Bear, be a Grizzly. I don't see any Grizzlies running around Dinkytown, fella. So keep that chin tucked. Let me know. Again, I'm not telling you where to go, but that's what I'm going to leave you with.
Yeah.
And the kid, he wrote back. He's like, this really increases my chance of you going to UND. So we'll see if he ends up there. I don't know.
We need him. We need him to go there, and then we got to get him on the show when he's wearing the green and black. Oh, that'd be all time. That's unreal. You got a little. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta sting for the Gophs. They don't have any guys out there doing that background work, outside of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have other alumni, like reaching out to or talking to him from the Gophers. I can't imagine.
No chance. And it's not like I'm the biggest name or you're the biggest name. It should probably be more impactful from a guy like TJ Oshie, but he's an avid listener, Auzzo, and we over here, we got to do our part too, right? For the program. So I'm hoping he picks UND, and hopefully he's a good player. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Like, because the first time I ever heard that line, be a Bear, be a Grizzly, was Jared Nightingale, who actually won the ECHL Coach of the Year. So I played with him, Nighty. His nickname was Crash Davis back in the day because he played for probably 28 minor league teams and never got one NHL game. A very tough customer in his own right, a serviceable AHL defenseman that just didn't really have the boots to ever probably play in the NHL, but a really good dude, played at Michigan State, now coaching in South Carolina, actually just, in the ECHL, won a Coach of the Year. So he told me this story back in the day. Remember the old Great Lakes Classic tournament at Joe Louis Arena? It was always North Dakota, Michigan, Michigan Tech, and I want to say Michigan State. So it was those 4 teams usually, right? They would go there. It was a Great Lakes Showdown or the Classic. It was always over Christmas break, and our family would always go to that. But Michigan State, when Nighty was there, they won it one of his years. And Bob Rock happened to be there. And Bob Rock was, friends with Chelios, obviously, playing for the Wings at the time. So he, they were going to go back to East Lansing one night, and he's like, hey, stop by my place outside of Detroit. You guys just won this tournament. Stop by, hang out. And I guess it was on a lake, and I forget the lake name, but Chelly had a place on the lake, and Chelly popped by, and there's a few other guys kind of from the Wings that stopped by, and I guess it was 4 a.m. And Bob Rock had all the boys, the Michigan State guys that were still there in his office, and he had a bottle of whiskey, some tequila. They were just hanging out. And I guess he was looking at he had a couple taxidermy things on the wall. It was a bear. It was a big 12-point buck and something else. And he's looking at the boys, and he grabs a bottle of whiskey, and I don't really know the context of the entire story, but it was something along the lines of, grabbing a bottle of whiskey, taking a big swig, and being like, fellas, if I could tell you one thing, if you're going to be a Bear, be a Grizzly. And then he just one-touched this bottle of whiskey. That's what the fuck? You're 19 years old, and Kid Rock is telling you to be a Grizzly. So anytime I hear that line, and especially when Nighty told me that my first year pro, and Nighty was 32 at the time, I use it to all the young kids. It's if you're going to be a Bear, man, be a Grizzly, because that's what Bob Rock would want you to do.
It's one of the best quotes there is out there, because it couldn't be more true. I mean, if you're going to be a Bear, you got to be a Grizzly.
100%. Auzzo, were you able to catch any of the NHL games, man? I feel so bad for our boy JB. I was texting him a little bit last night, watching that game, getting scored on 3 redirections and then getting that one late. I mean, they had that thing wrapped up like a Christmas present, baby.
He almost had that thing won for him too, because he was getting shelled.
He was.
He was getting shelled. And, did you see his outfit walking into the game too? All black, everything, black tie, black shirt. Oh, that was so sick. If you would have ended the Jets season wearing that, God, that would have been all time. But yeah, I felt bad for him, man. He kept them in that game, I felt. But yeah, you got to lead, and what a crazy. You're on Winnipeg, man. That's a crazy win right there. Holy shit.
Yeah, and first off, that's his Johnny Cash look. He loves. I showed him Walk the Line way back in the day, and I'll actually take credit for it, with Joaquin Phoenix when we were living in Chicago. And I was like, JB, you gotta watch Walk the Line, brother. It's one of the best movies of all time, and it's going to teach you about one of the biggest badasses to ever do it. The addiction, the highs and lows, the mistresses. Reese Witherspoon in the movie. It's a classic. June Carter. This is a classic movie. Folsom Prison. The songs, everything about Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, you got to learn about. So I showed him the movie one night. It was probably a Sunday. We just hanging out, probably hung on the couch. And for about a month and a half or 2 months after that, we've had him on the show, Auzzo. He's talked about this.
Yep.
And he thought he was Johnny Cash. He put that movie on probably 4 or 5 times a week. And there was about a stretch of 3 to 4 months where he thought he was Johnny Cash. He thought he was the Man in Black. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, he's going back to it. But Auzzo, I don't know if you caught the whole game or what you thought of it, but okay, so those 2 late goals, right? So the one, they both went from low to high to the top of the key to the right flank, or if you're playing for St. Louis, the left flank. So Kyle Connor over there, twice, I believe. So the defenseman, Ryan Suter, on the first one, like he's flexed out, but as a lefty, Auzzo, he's facing the wrong way to block the shot. Like he's got to be facing towards the net to take away the far side of the net. He opens himself up. He goes left leg down, toe caps up the ice, and that puck goes right off the inside of his shaft. It's a tough break, but that's why it deflects in. Is because Suter's facing the wrong way. If Suits is facing the other way, taking the far side of the net away, then JB, all he has to worry about is that strong side. Yeah. It's a weird hop off of Kyle Connor's stick, but at the same time, it's like you have to make that play, and Suits is facing the wrong way. And then the next one to tie the game with Perfetti on that goal, Auzzo, that one, it's like Falk, and these are two veteran defensemen, and watching the game from the couch, obviously in hindsight, is way easier. But Falk almost goes running away or too far out to like the dot, and he exposes the middle of the ice where Perfetti is left all alone. Like Auzzo, under 5 seconds like that, and I know they're gassed and they're tired, but just hold the front of the net, because where's that puck going to go? It's going to the front of the net. Even if Perfetti doesn't tip that puck in from the high slot, which was a great tip, you know it's going there, and you're going to have to weed whack it out of there with 2 seconds left and you have the game won. Make Connor beat you with a one-timer from outside the dots. Auzzo, he's outside the dots. Why are we running at him?
I know.
We're down a man already, and at worst, if he's going to beat you, it's going to have to be something inside the bar or bar down, where he's going to have to make the perfect shot, where if you just hold like at the hash, you have a good stick, but more importantly, you're not running out of position in case that goes off the pad, and then it's like a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-2 with the extra man at the net. Like, I just thought that was just, both plays were just, from veteran defensemen, just not the smartest.
No. Yeah, and you talk about the angle of when you're blocking a shot too, and I don't know what happened. Like, you feel like Suter knows that, right? You're always taught, when you go down to block a shot, you're trying to block the shot from going far side.
Exactly.
You want the goalie to have the strong side. He can make that save. He's not going to make a save on the far side if it's if the guy snipes it past him, and the goalie can see better. When you are that tired, I don't know how tired Suits was and Falk out there, but like, you start to make dumb decisions because when you're tired, you're not thinking as clearly, so I don't know what that had to do with it, but yeah, you're right. Like, how do you not just have 5 guys standing net front with 2 seconds left?
Yeah. And
like, you should all be at the front of the net blocking everything. That's like your face is out in the open trying to block a shot with it.
Right. Like, it's one thing if Connor is at the dot or he's inside of the dot and he's at the ladies' tees and he's going to tee that thing up. Then Falk, I want him flexed out to, somewhere between the hash and the dot. But when he's way out there like that and you get overextended, now there's so much of that ice in the middle, right in the slot in the house, where we're already playing a man down 6-on-5. And also, Auzzo, there's 2 seconds left. Make that guy beat you with a bar down shot is all I'm saying. And then for Suits, like, how do you not know to face the other way? And it's an unfortunate bounce. It goes off the inside of his shaft and it fucking knuckleballs in over Binner to the far side. But at the same time, if he's facing the right way on that block shot, that never happens because his stick isn't there. His stick it's not to the guts like that. It's to the outside. Yeah. And it probably goes wide or he blocks the shot. It's, and especially guys that have played 1,000 games. I just thought, I was like, fuck. Yeah. It's tough. And you have
the lead the whole game too. And I don't know what people, I don't know, like, Suter is a guy who is obviously one of the best NHL defensemen to ever play. Like, I can't chirp the guy at all, but, I do I almost feel bad for him. Like, I don't, because I haven't heard too many good things about him inside the room and stuff, but everywhere he goes, it seems like he was with the Wild fans hate him. He was with Dallas. The Stars fans hate him. And now I can't imagine the Blues fans are too happy with him, and you got this prolific defenseman that's just an unbelievable player. And he doesn't have a single fan base that likes him.
I know.
You just feel bad for the guy, but that is, like, you're right. Like, And that's something most people would never even think about or know watching the game. But you're taught to not let that shot go out on the far side of you.
Right. And just let Binner focus on that half of the net.
Yeah.
On the strong side. And then again, Falk, just make Connor beat you with a fucking snipe upper 90 cheddar. Like, with 2 seconds left, is he going to do that? No. Where's the puck going to go? It's going to go to the front of the net on a last second prayer. That's what it did. Perfetti. Like, let's pick up sticks. Like, we're not going to get tied up with guys because it's 6-on-5, but let's hold and let's get tight and let's collapse. And that way, when the puck does come there with 1 second left, if we can identify sticks, then we have a chance. You know what I mean? And make Connor, again, blow it by Binner's ears on the far side of the strong side on a miraculous shot. I can live with that. I can't live with a high tip, especially if we just got beat on a shitty bounce off a defenseman's stick when he's facing the other side. I don't know. I mean, but that's hockey. It's like
that's hockey. I mean, and the Jets were relentless, and they scored again the game-winning goal like that, with another tip in front and traffic in front and getting a shot through. It was inevitable though. Like watching overtime, Jordo, is like, the Jets are gonna win this one. Like, fuck.
Yeah, they were the better team, but St. Louis put up a great fight, and I love some of those guys on that team, obviously. And, Braden Shen plays really hard. I love that Nathan Walker, what he's done for St. Louis. And as an undersized guy, I think he's an absolute water bug. And Bob Thomas looked good, but I think they're just a day late and $1 short in terms of their lineup, even without Mark Scheifele. It was pretty evident. But did you catch that? How about were you watching any puck in terms of that Game 7 in Colorado and Dallas? And I just thought Nate McKinnon's comments were so honest, and from a competitor, I loved it. Even though in defeat, he came out as a man.
Yeah.
Basically said, you know what, if we can't even beat these guys with arguably their best player and their best defenseman, that shows a lot about where we're at. Yeah. And on the other side, Mikko Rantanen sticking it to Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic. What do you think those guys are thinking? Like, maybe we should have just paid him. Maybe we should have gave him the $12 million that he wanted. Like, so I'm all for managers thinking guys cost too much and different things. But even as a restaurant owner, say you have an award-winning recipe or an award-winning sauce, and it's known throughout the world for being the best or winning. Mm-hmm. Why would you go change that recipe to cheap out on products that you might not have to spend as much on, but people are going to notice, and most importantly, the team and the culture, and it's going to fuck everything up, and now our business isn't as good, and now we're not the winning team, now we don't have as good of chance. You put all these fillers in there, and listen, Brock Nelson, unbelievable player. Charlie Coyle, great player. Martin Necas, great player.
Yeah.
But they can't even win one round. Mikko Rantanen won you a cup, and you thought you could get away with it. You thought you could maybe cheap out a little bit, and you lose in round one. And who's the guy that stick it right up your fucking ass is the guy you wouldn't pay.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to me. It's fucking crazy.
And now it feels like it's something that could end a franchise or curse them.
Yeah.
For a long time to come. Like that game 7 with Rantanen doing what he did in the third period. It felt like, this is bad news for Colorado. Like this is not good for the future. Like not even right now. I mean, it sucks right now, but that's something that could bury the franchise for a long time to come. I know they still got Nate Dogg and Makar, but yeah, it's almost like these, did they think they were playing GM mode and they got a little bored and like some GMs can just like, they feel like they need to make moves to have fun or something and just like keep it fresh, or because how do you trade that guy away? I mean, he just, he buried him. And how sick was that first goal too?
Oh. It was so sick. And then the individual effort on the second one, though,
Yeah.
just blowing by Ryan Lindgren, just literally put him in a turn spin cycle, put him on turbo sport mode in your fucking dryer, like literally inside out, like he was like all over the place.
Yeah.
And then was able to tuck it in off a Gerard's skate for the wraparound finish in the first goal. I mean, that was fucking bar Tijuana. But it's like, Auzzo, is it a classic case of for every hot girl, there's a dude tired of whacking her? Like, did they just get tired of seeing Mikko Rantanen score 50 goals? Like, what? Like, it's not like this guy was a 35 goal scorer. He was a 50.
They don't make him.
Right. Like,
what is he? What is he too? Like 6'4", 230 pounds, probably can skate as fast as anyone in the league. He's probably top 10 strongest players in the league. He's young. He from what I hear, he wasn't really even asking for an insane amount for his production. It just, none of it makes sense.
Best net front guy in the entire league on the power play.
Yeah.
Unbelievable chemistry with a Hart-winning trophy winner. And
yeah, like Nate Dogg loved playing with him.
Right. Like,
so
what are you doing?
I don't know. It was, I mean, yeah, and you're right, Jordan. Like, they didn't have Heiskanen or Robo. I mean, these two guys, if they have them in the lineup, what was it, over in 5?
Yeah, to me, Auzzo, it's just when you look back on that move, and yes, it was a roundabout way to get to Dallas, and he clearly didn't want to be in Carolina. But just from Colorado's standpoint, like, were you trying to outsmart everyone? Like, what was your real reason? Was it your owner, Stan Kroenke, you didn't want to accept the fact that he had to pay Mikko Rantanen a number that could have been more than or as much as McKinnon? Or what was the real reason?
Because, yeah, did they not like his character?
Right.
Did he have a bad character issues, or?
But the guys love him in the room.
I know. Was he? It didn't sound. I've never heard anything about his like off ice issues, or I think he was pretty dialed in, just like Nate Dogg is. You know, like there's no like. It's not like trading away, Luka Doncic, who doesn't eat healthy and is a little out of shape.
Right.
There's just nothing that you can really justify it with. Like
Mikko Rantanen's not smoking hookah like Luka.
No.
Like when you start, this from even just a business owner, Auzzo, when you have a well-oiled company or program in place and you want to start cheaping out and cutting corners, what happens? You notice it. You do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You do.
You're immediately, and it's visible. And yeah, right. You're right. I mean, that sauce stereotype or scenario you just gave is perfect. Like, you got the best sauce in the world. It's won awards. It's been the best sauce in the world, and now you're just going to change an ingredient because you don't want to pay, or what don't you want to pay? I mean, it's
right.
It's like not paying Leon Draisaitl. It's like, where else are you going to find this guy? You can't.
To me, it was just, that is a move like that is it. You're an idiot. I think that's the only thing I can say is you're just an idiot. Like where in the world are we taking 50 goal scorers for granted? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And then the guy just shoves it down your throat and says, "How do you like me now?"
Buries you.
How good does that feel for him?
Oh, did you see him? I think he was playing the violin a little bit when they're skating off.
Oh, sick.
Oh, see you guys later. Oh man. Like I said, I think I'm not going to put the curse on the Avs because they do have Nate Dogg and Makar, but that's a move right there that can curse a franchise for a long time to come.
100%. And then obviously LA, Edmonton, that was just a tale's old as time. That was the Oil Kings Part 4. And
you guys had two good games.
Yeah,
LA,
classic,
2 good games. Yeah,
all the experts coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, this is LA's year. They're marching for a cup." 8 days later, They're fucking packing their shit. Their GM and team is mutually parted ways. Bob Blake is out, and they got some things to mill over there in LA. But yeah, that was just a tale as old as time. What are we thinking though, Auzzo, just in terms of, I wanted to get your predictions quick before we get into the mailbag part of the show. What do we think? Let's start there. Let's start with the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. What are we thinking for that series?
Before the season started, Jordo, I think, or before the playoffs started, I would have picked Vegas, but I didn't like the way they looked against the Wild.
I didn't either.
They did not, and I'm not impressed with Edmonton. They're nothing against our boy Sted. She's injured right now, not playing, but Edmonton's back end is a big problem in my eyes. But I'm going to pick Edmonton. Just it's McDavid Draisaitl.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way Vegas is looking right now. So Edmonton.
How many games?
6.
Yeah, I just think it's the same thing with LA where people will try to sell you on this. Yeah, their team game's better. Their goalies are better. Their defense is definitely better. They're probably deeper up front. But Auzzo, when you have the 2 best players in the world, or at least the best player and a top 3 player in the world, how do you bet against these guys? Because you know they're going to show up. I was at game 2 in LA, and after they got beat down by LA, people in crypto.com were like, shit, probably LA in 4 or 5. I'm like, I don't know. And I know how bad Bouchard played that game. I know their defense is shit. I know Klingberg's soft. I know the Dr. Darnell Nurse isn't perfect. But somehow they're just going to win. They're just going to win. McDavid doesn't take no for an answer. He's autistic. Like he's not going to put his team in a position to lose in the first round. And I just don't see them losing to Vegas either. I really don't.
It was the same question. I mean, it felt the same way last year too, Jordo. I was like, there's no way Edmonton's making it to the cup final.
Yeah.
And then once they got to the cup final, they went down 3-0. And I'm like, they're going to get, there's no way. And they were inches away from winning the cup. So I'm just not going to fall for it. I'm going to pick Edmonton.
They just beat LA with a borderline American Hockey League goalie. I mean, no disrespect to Calvin Pickard. I love him. He's the pride of Winnipeg. He's a great dude. I met him in San Antonio my first year pro when he was down in the jungle with the San Antonio Rampage. He was a 2nd-round pick, 2010, to the Colorado Avalanche, and that was their farm team back in the day was San Antonio. And I met Calvin Pickard, the pride of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Great dude. Awesome guy. At best, Auzzo, a National Hockey League backup. And they just whacked LA those final 4 games. Just whacked them with Cal Pickard. And now it sounds like they're going back to Stuart Skinner. Game 1 versus Vegas. So
really?
We'll see how that pans out. Yeah. But I just think it doesn't even matter. Edmonton, they just have the 2 best players or 2 of the top 3 best players in the world. And they'll just find a way, Auzzo. Like they'll get some timely scoring, whether it's from Hyman, Kane, Perry, Arvidsson, Janmark, some of these guys that just play in their middle 6, Nugent Hopkins, and they'll just roll with it. And those guys, the top dogs, are going to be putting up 1 and 3 anyways. And if they get on the power play, they're going to score. And I just don't think – I didn't like Vegas's game against Minnesota. I didn't really – Eichel, I thought, was non-existent. I thought Pietrangelo, that was the worst series I've seen him play in years.
Yeah.
And I just think – so that series, I think I'm going to go Edmonton in 7. You got them in 6. How about on the other side of the West, sliding over to Winnipeg and Dallas? That series going off Wednesday, Auzzo. What do we like in this series? Quick turnaround for Winnipeg. Dallas, obviously, another day's rest coming out of that series. But both series went to game 7. What do you like in that one?
This one, I might end up biting my tongue for this, but I don't think so. This isn't Dallas in 5 to me.
Wow.
This is I think they're getting Heiskanen, maybe Robo back as well, maybe the series.
Yeah, at some point, I think at some point we'll see him. I know Pete DeBoer came out and said until Heiskanen is medically cleared, he's not going to go. So we'll see when we do see him, if at all. But I anticipate at least by game 3 we would see him.
Yeah, so And he when he's healthy, you never know what he's going to look like coming back from an injury, but when he is healthy, he is arguably top 3, top 5 defenseman in the league. So I just have to pick them. I don't have too much. Not to say I don't respect these Winnipeg Jets boys. I mean, I think there's the best team in the regular season in the NHL this year. They're all battling out life in Winnipeg. So I do respect these guys. There's nothing there telling me to bet on them in this series. I mean, I know they had a good season. You would think like, oh, Connor Hellebuck, like he's a good piece to have on that in between the pipes, and he hasn't played well in the playoffs, Jordo.
No.
I think he is like, I saw a stat, I think Bucci tweeted out, he is 17-0-1 in his last 18 games at home. He doesn't look that good.
No.
And
he doesn't look like a Vezina trophy goalie. It's someone you win with.
No, and if you want to win this series against this Stars team, he's going to need to be the best player on the ice almost every game they play. And he hasn't been their best player so far, so I don't see why that's going to change.
Yep, and we'll see when Scheifele comes back. But Izzy Marvin, I know you're listening to the show, fella. I know you love Mark Chipman. I know you love Winnipeg and the Jets and the whiteout and the throat goat up there and everyone, but I just don't see the Winnipeg Jets. Man, it's too cold to win up there. I always say I love Vegas of the North, but it's just this time of year, you're battling.
Is there snow on the ground up there still?
I think I saw someone with a convertible, so it must be over 35 degrees Fahrenheit up there right now.
Yeah, yeah.
The sun was out for the first time since I think maybe November 1st. So there are some positives too. I mean, it is Cinco de Mayo we're recording here, so you'd like to think that Winnipeg is warming up, but I don't know. Scheifele out, Morrissey banged up. He only played 2 minutes of the final game. I just think Dallas, especially if they get those guys back, I think I'm going Dallas in 6 there. And I love Vegas of the North, but it's just like, holy fuck, that city. I think at this time of year, you're just like, get me out of here. Get me somewhere warm. I've been battling all year. That's why we have great regular seasons, but at that point, it's just too much. So I got Dallas in 6. We got a series starting up in about an hour and a half, Auzzo, and that is the Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs. What do you like in this one, my friend?
Man, I'm just going to go with history. Like this Florida team, I honestly thought the Bolts were going to beat them.
Same.
It didn't go that way. So I'm done doubting them. I'm going to continue to doubt this Toronto Maple Leafs team until I see something from once they make it past the second round. I'll give them their flowers, but until then, I just can't do it. And I know Anthony Stolarz has been playing pretty well. I just don't think he's the guy you need in between the pipes if you want to win a cup, especially against this Florida Panthers team. So I got Florida in 6 on that one. I would love to see Toronto win though. I would love to see Amats and Mitchie Marner and those boys make it to the third round, see what they have there, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I love Amats. I love Willie Stiles. I love their team, but it just seems like this Florida team, they're too tapped. They got Marchand, they got Bennett, Kachuk. They just have too many pricks on that team, especially Ekblad coming off the PEDs, off the Lance Armstrong gas. Like his elbow is activated. Watch out. He's mad. He's playing like Rex Kwon Do out there. He looks like he's WWE ready. So this team, for me, I just think they got too many pricks. They got way too much jam for the Maple Leafs to handle. And I think they're going to come into Toronto and punch them in the mouth. And I think it could easily, this one could be 5. I'm going to say Florida in 6, but I don't think the Maple Leafs have the answer to when the game gets elevated, Auzzo, to a point where you got to be fucking so crazy and so batshit to win the cup. They have never played close to that level. And that's why I was scared even for that game 6 against Ottawa, because Ottawa raised their compete, and a lot of the Maple Leafs players, they stay in regular season mode, and that doesn't work. It just doesn't. You need to play criminal. Like when I love Austin Matthews. Love him as a guy, love him as a player. But when I watch him play, and when I watch him play playoffs, I just wish he would take the puck to the net more, Auzzo. Like,
I know.
Get to the inside and take the puck to the net.
And you're a big ass, strong body. And you said it best too. Like, you got to play like an absolute psycho to win deep in these playoffs. I mean, everyone's injured out there. They're all tired. You got to be a nutbag to bring that intensity. And none of those guys on Toronto have played like that.
No. And Auzzo, you even watched like Matt Boldy last round. The game 5 when they lost on the road to Vegas, when he scored that goal where he lowered his shoulder on Petro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many times have you seen Matthews do that in the playoffs, where you lower your shoulder and you drive it to the far post? Like, that to me, that's playing hard without having to play physically hard. You're willing to take a hit at that far post and crash into the goalie at all costs, and even coming out of the corners, take the puck to the net, man. Go to the net. Go to play hard. Like, Matty Tkachuk has that goalie's bucket off once a fucking game. They're jabbing in there. They're at the net. Watch the best players at this time of year. They fucking take the puck to the net, and that's. I'm sure Chief is telling those guys on the Maple Leafs, but it's you got to get your nose dirty a little bit, boys. Otherwise, you're not going to win. You can't just sit on the outside of the perimeter and rely on snipes.
No, yeah, and it's like, Mitch Marner, obviously an unbelievable player, one of the best in the league, and he did have a good 4 Nations, which I think is a good sign for these Leafs, because that Canada-US game at the 4 Nations, that was a playoff game, and he looked really good there, but that was not the Stanley Cup playoffs. I hate to say it. I mean, it was as high-skilled game, a high-intensity game as it ever gets, but this is the NHL playoffs. These guys are turning into criminals, and you need guys who are willing to literally eat pucks off their teeth to win a game. And you got to have a certain mindset to do that. And those Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't know if they're living too good there or not, but they don't come off as those type of players.
Yeah, it's just. We'll see. Maybe they'll prove us wrong, but I'm with you. I got the Cats in 6. How about that last series before we move on to the mailbag, Auzzo, and answer some questions from the people? The Caniacs and the Caps. Now, what are we seeing here?
I think Carolina's favored in this series.
Yeah, they are.
But and everyone's picking Carolina to move on. I got the Caps. I mean, I don't see. I think this Caps team has what it takes to win these playoff games. And Carolina, they've always. I know they always make it to the Eastern Conference Final, but they don't have a guy on their team that really impresses me that much. And how much does a guy like Tom Wilson mean in this series? Like, who's going to go on and take on Tommy Wilson?
Yeah.
On the Canes, and I know they've got a really good back end. They got Slavin back there. They still got big Brent Burns, Psycho. Our boy Jackson Blake, UND guy, he's playing well, but these Caps, man, they got some skill. They've got some guys who can play hard. They've got some size to them, and Ovi's still tucking, man. Look at Ovi's first round. He's still scoring goals. You got to stop that guy. And I don't see the Canes doing it for some reason.
No, I'm with you. And I took the Canes in my missing curfew poll, and I'm going to stick with it. But the more I think about it, it's just like Carolina's the favorite to win the cup somehow. I don't know.
How is that?
Those odds came out because
they have the easiest road to it, maybe, or something.
I think so. But so they were like plus 950 at the start of the playoffs, and after game 2 or 3 against the Devils, they dropped to plus 450, and now I think they're plus 425, which is not even good odds. But who is going to answer the bell when Ovi or Tom Wilson rings a chin? None of those guys can do it. Svechnikov tried to, like 3 years ago when he was a rookie,
almost died.
And Ovi felt bad about that knockout, but he literally almost punched the kid through the ice over there in North Carolina and Raleigh.
Yeah.
So you're right on that front on the physicality. I picked the Caniacs, and I don't even know why. I don't like the makeup of their team. I don't really love how they play. They flip a ton of pucks out. They rim. They chase. It's just ugly hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I had Carolina in 7, but I'm not sure on that. I guess we'll see where it goes. I don't love their goaltending situation, but the Caps everyone's doubting them, and they could easily win this series. Easily.
I don't know why everyone's doubting the Caps. I know, it's maybe they had a good season because of Ovi's goal record year. They might be, I think people are doubting them because they're tired from that season. But yeah, and if you're going off history, Jordo, how many Eastern Conference Finals has the Canes made in a row? It's been quite a few. I mean,
yeah,
they know how to get to that point. But they also just traded away one of their best players. What did they get in return? They tried to get Rantanen. If they had Rantanen, I'd have a tough time picking against them, but they don't have him.
Yeah, they basically traded out Natchez for Stankoven.
Yeah,
what it came down to.
I mean, Stankoven's a good player, but
they fumbled that bag too, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one to me is the biggest toss up. Like I really don't know. I like Carolina. The more I watch Carolina, Auzzo, the less I know about their game.
I know.
Look, I truly mean when I say that. I've watched them probably 20 times over the last 3 years. I hate watching them, so I'll watch them in the playoffs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I watch their team, the less I know about their team. I don't even know what they do. They just have a bunch of small little guys on their team that run around, and they're pretty good. And they're not household names, but they're really solid NHLers that are anywhere from their top guys from 60 to 90 points. And I like Aho's game, but you put Aho against Ovechkin, it's like that guy could get he'll eat him for lunch.
Oh yeah.
He's an hors d'oeuvre. He's a piece of crispy Aho tuna.
And clearly Rob Brindamore knows what he's doing. He can lead a group of men. And it seems like they all play hard for him, but I think people are also underestimating Spencer Carbattery too. I mean, this guy seems like an unbelievable coach too. And I've heard some great things about that guy.
Yeah. The old Carbattery. He's up for the old Jackie Adams. He'll probably win it. So interesting on that series. That is our NHL portion of this show over here at Live in 5, episode number 85, brought to you by Mini Movers and Butter Golf. Auzzo, let's get over to the mailbag. We'll take, 5 to 10 questions here from the people wanting to know. So we're going to start us off. I am going to, now that you're freshly turned 30, I'm going to turn this question over to you. You're going to start us off here. The question is, Swish, Auzzo, it's Ace. Live in 5 question. Best next day remedies after a long night out in your 30s. You're stung and you want to just chop your head off. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? This comes in from Richard, a.k.a. Dick.
Rich, Dick, my advice is there's nothing you can do the next day. The only thing you can do is the night before. I think if you drink water before you go to bed and get a little bit to eat, you will feel better that next day. If you forget that, you might as well go get an IV.
You're chasing it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you because I think it's already over at that point. Like you're screwed. And trust me, I've tried everything. I've literally tried sauna. I would say, you know what, Jordan, but one of the best things I actually think you can do is get a workout in.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yes. And you're not going to want to do it.
You're not. It's going to be the worst thing ever, and you're going to think there's no way you can do it. But it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Get a workout in, get a little sweat in. And that used to work even when we were younger, Jordan. You know, if you were hung on a Tuesday and you had a Wednesday practice, you go get, you get a little workout in, a little sweat in the morning. It helps a lot. It's just water, workout, go outside, get some fresh air. I would say even if you got a pool option, go submerge yourself in some water for a little bit. That always helps. Yeah.
Those negative ions. Yeah, you're right. I would say, I would echo that. You can always do your pre-work, what you were talking about, where you get some water in you, maybe some electrolytes. If you do remember now, listen, if you're 15 drinks deep and you're shit-faced and you fall asleep with all your clothes on, these things probably don't work. And that does happen. Sometimes you just wake up naked on your couch. You're like, what the fuck happened? But in saying that, I think if you do some electrolytes, like Auzzo said, maybe you get something in your barrel to establish a base, something greasy to kind of soak up that booze. And then I would say I don't do this hardly at all anymore, but get yourself a left-handed cigarette. Have a couple puffs of that right before you go to bed. If you get a little dope in you, it actually helps the hang a little bit, because marijuana, Auzzo, Mary Jane, is a natural anti-inflammatory. Now, I'm not saying you should go home and burn down a 7-gram blunt, but if you get a couple puffs, it actually does wonders for the headache, and that will actually lead you to getting up in the morning and getting a workout in. And yeah, you're going to have to fight off the fog. Of course, you're going to have to fight off a lot of different things, but if you can get that workout in and that sweat, whether it's just like a long walk or a moderate hike or something as easy as like a zone 2 or 3 cardio bike ride, which I'm saying in zone 2 or 3 for the people that don't work out, heart rate between 115 and 140, and you just spin it and you get that light back sweat going. And then Auzzo, you get up early enough, and then you reward yourself with something to eat, and then maybe a little bit of a nap if you got that luxury for the day.
Yep. That is, I would say, even the outdoor workout is best too. Yep. Rather than in a gym where you got there's no air circulation, it might be a little muggy in there. Get yourself outside, get a little sun if you have that option. Those usually help, but that's, unfortunately, Jordo, I've tried everything, and I know they're selling these things now. These supplements you can take the night before or the day after. Nothing works. I remember Eric Kupka once told me to grab a large blue Powerade. Nothing works. No,
nothing. Especially in your 30s, you're chasing the dragon. So, Dick, I hope that helped you out, my friend. This one I'll take to start, Auzzo, and then you can go from there. Best get this guy a water moment you've ever seen. I'm going to take you back to memory lane. Walsh Hall, 2012. Rookie party for my freshman year class. Wasn't perfect. It probably put a dagger on a lot of rookie parties to follow, but it was a historic and iconic event. The old school UND rookie parties used to be an absolute gauntlet. I don't know what they do now. They probably don't do anything. They're all a bunch of nerds, but they're good kids. But the old school UND rookie parties, and those are stories that stay within the room. I don't even tell people outside of other colleges or other pro players that always ask, like, what was your initiation? And not that it was anything weird or gay or anything like that. It just stays in house. So I just remember, Auzzo, not only that night making the paper, but that was the best get this guy a water moment. I mean, the cop showed up to Walsh Hall. I was locked inside the bathroom, I guess, allegedly unresponsive. That's what the paper said. I don't remember anything. Kajula gets stretchered out. He ends up at All True Hospital. He's getting stretchered out at like 4:00 out of Walsh Hall. And some of the dorm mates that we knew see Kajula on the stretcher. He puts the thumbs up like he just got hit in a game. You know what I mean? Like he's got the thumb up like this, like we're all good here. Chiswick's passed out. Dusky, the oldest statesman, is somehow faking like he's doing homework up in his room in 202B. Meanwhile, while all this is going on in 101, where my room was, Zano was down for the count. So, yeah, man, I think that was probably the biggest get this guy a water moment. And you know what? Sometimes you need a water, Auzzo, and we've all been there.
Yeah, sometimes you do need a water. I'm not gonna. I've seen other guys in this scenario where they need a water. I've got plenty of those stories, but I'll call myself out, Jordo, on this one. One of my biggest get myself a water moment was we were walking out of Joe Black's, and the bar closed, horn went off. In Joe Black's, as everyone knows from Grand Forks, the horn goes off when you got about 15 minutes left inside. And for some reason, we were having a conversation about women wanting to be equal to men, wanting equal rights or whatever. So obviously drunk Auzzo thought it was kind of, we walked outside, and there was There's a group of 2 girls and 2 guys just walking down the sidewalk, just going home. And for some reason, I thought it was a funny idea to go kind of tackle this girl that was with these 2 guys and another one of her friends. So I ran at her. I took her down, good form, like a linebacker. Didn't injure her or anything, but I was like, you know what? Like, women want equal rights. I'm not going to tackle the guy. I'm going to treat the girls an equal, and I'm going to tackle her because I would tackle a guy out here, no problem. We're having a good time.
Yep.
It's funny. Well, the guys didn't think it was funny. I think they tried to curb stomp me. After I tackled his girlfriend. My friends had to break it up and try to explain to the guys that I'm actually not some crazy lunatic who tackles women all the time. And that was like I kind of snapped out of it, Jordo, and I was like, I need a fucking water. I can't be doing this shit, you know? It's just like you're a fucking idiot moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. You're form tackling just to prove a point.
Just
we're all equal here.
Thought it was funny. I don't think it's looking back, it's not that funny, but the story's pretty funny.
I love that. Yeah, that's a classic. We all do crazy shit when we're fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could even, the one I think about myself too, like my second year pro, Nick was living in Madison on the Square, right by the Capitol at this place called the Press Building, right actually across the street from Tornado Auzzo, which was the steakhouse we went to when we played UW my sophomore year, your freshman year.
Yeah.
We sat downstairs in the Coral Room. And I remember I went out. It was actually me, Nick, my buddy Louie, and we met Stetch out. We were sitting at Chasers. Back in the day, Chasers was a great spot on the campus, right on the chin of the University of Wisconsin. Before we were going to go to Chasers, we had this whole night planned out. I was going to go Chasers to Mondays for the stiffest drinks in the league, and then end up at the KK late night. And it was like right around when the season ends, like in May or June, and we're all kind of hanging out. And I remember from Nick's place down to Chasers or down to State Street. Well, it's like a steady decline also. So everyone grabbed those city bikes where you rent. But my dumbass was in the mode of, well, I was in a skateboard gang in Minnesota. So what am I going to do? I'm going to skateboard down. So I grabbed my longboard. Everything's smooth. I'm taking this longboard bar to bar. I'm going from Chasers. Then we go to Mondays. I'm skateboarding the whole time. Then I take it to the KK. I'm like grabbing drinks with my board. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have NHL games at this point. I'm walking in here. I'm like, yeah, I got my board with me. And people are like, what the fuck are you doing? So the night is getting a little fuzzy. Stetch is hanging out with us. He's with his gal. I'm with Nick and Abby and I think my sister and as well as my buddy Louie. And the lights just go black. Awesome. The next thing you know it, my phone is dead and I'm passed out on a park bench outside of Nick's place. I wake up and there's cops around and I'm passed out by a homeless guy outside. And it's 4 or 5 in the morning. So I've been out for about an hour and a half, maybe 2. No idea how I got home, but I did have my board and I called Nick like relentlessly, like 60 times. Maybe not 60, but 20 at least. He finally answers. He's like, where are you? I'm like, I just fell asleep outside. I'll be home. Cop lights woke me up, told me to go home. So thank God I was all right. And it's one of those nights where you don't blame anything on yourself. You actually blame the fact that, I got roofied. Well, no. You just had 38 drinks. So that was a classic case of telling everyone for a week that I got roofied at the KK when really it was just all on my own chin, just being a fucking idiot. So that's my get this guy a water moment for myself.
Got roofied. I love pulling that. Someone tells you like,
hilarious.
I think I honestly got roofied last night. No, man, I saw you take probably 12 tequila shots in 2 hours. That wasn't a roofie.
Yeah, 100%. All right, this one. I got a question. This is from Matt. I got a question for both the captain and the People's Insider, a.k.a. Mr. 93.1. At UND or anytime playing hockey from minor to pro, what was the team's first song played after a win? We always had Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant or The Stroke by Billy Squier. Love the pod, boys. Keep the chins tucked and never go chin over shin.
Good tune. God, there were a lot. I'm actually blanking on what our main ones were, but my favorite one, Jordo, was actually my junior year at North Dakota, and we decided we played it. We had a game in Duluth right before Christmas break, and we decided to play Bruce Springsteen. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes.
And we liked that one. So we kind of kept it going. And it was hilarious when it was playing in like March when we win a game and we have Santa Claus is coming to town in March. Great tune, but just hilarious that we decided to stick with that one, even in March, as a win song.
Yeah, and the famous Andy Rannell's wedding in Duluth.
Yeah.
The day after at about 9 a.m, friend of the show, John Simonson, was rumored to be driving around Duluth with McDonald's breakfast blaring Santa Claus is coming to town in the middle of fucking June in Duluth, Minnesota.
That's why we played it.
He was picking guys up along the way. I think he picked you up. I think he picked Rico up. You had like 4 or 5 guys along the way, Dewey maybe. And you guys were just having a nice classic episode of Carcella where you just sit in the car and treat it like
get in the car, Santa Claus is coming to town is playing, and I'm like, and you're hung over and you feel like you're in cartoon land a little bit.
Yep.
And that song's playing and it's June and you're like, what is going on right now? But this song is great. Let's play it again, John.
That is I'm blanking on our ones that we had at UND. The Club Can't Even Handle Me Right Now, I think was my freshman year at UND. All-time tune by Usher.
We Can't Stop,
Rider.
maybe.
Yeah, Miley. We had that. That was a good one. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Of other bangers that we had. It's always hard, because sometimes you get one and then you get cold and you have to change it up.
Yeah. I remember the one song that we always listened to after pregame skate.
Yep.
Was Lightning Crashes.
Yeah, by Live.
That was the one song that stayed consistent throughout my college career. We did that all 4 years.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I remember one year in pro we had Higher by Creed. That was unreal.
Yep.
Can you take me higher? Yeah. But yeah, it was always hard because sometimes you would get hot with one or cold, and then Casey and the Sunshine Band, they always had bangers we'd always try out. I remember, I don't know if it was Give It Up or That's the Way I Like It.
Give it up, baby,
those are good vibes. But it's all about the 2 or 3 songs to follow, because you want guys staying in the locker room and hanging out. You don't want just everyone dispersing to hit the foam roller or the cold tub or whatever they're going to do, have their protein shake elsewhere. You want the guys to stay in there. So that's on the DJ. After the win song's a banger, you need to follow it up with a couple. So that's that was always the biggest thing. But great question there. This one coming in from Tibby with one. Ask Swish, ask Auzzo. Quick question about the great Nick Mattson. What the fuck was up with the hook on the end of his stick blade? Got an MX3 of his, and God, does that toe hook pull nasty drags in beer league? Cheers, fellas. Love the pod. Well, the thing with Matts, I'll take this one to start, is he was, and he would agree with this, he was a Nordstrom rack version of Duncan Keith. So he thought he was Duncan Keith. So everything he did, from the way he taped his stick, the way he rocked his skates, the ankle tape, the toe curve, Duncan Keith, that curve was when Matts used to go to prospect camp and see Duncan Keith's blade. So that's where it stems from. And that's where you could, and the biggest thing about that curve, Auzzo, is you can pick shit up off the yellow, the boards. So that's why Matts loved it, is because, and Duncan Keith as well, is you can get really in there. And when you go along the boards, you're picking it off from the blue line and pulling it in. It has that nice little kickstand on it.
And yeah, Jordan, and I can't remember what Matts's end of his blade looked like, but I did have that little toe pick off the end of it.
Yep.
because I flipped a lot of pucks out of the zone. So I could flick the puck almost to the scoreboard with that little toe pick on the end.
Yep.
Those little things help. And the beaver paddle that they came out with, I think we started using those my sophomore year. That helped. But yeah, that's funny you bring up, Jordo, that Nick Mattson emulated his game after Duncan Keith, because he did kind of look like him out there, like his style, his skating almost. But Duncan Keith, man, that's fun to think about that guy. I wish that guy was still playing.
I know. It would be unbelievable. Yeah, but that's kind of why. All right, Auzzo, we're gonna take one more for this week, and then we're gonna get to the nail gun as well as the term of the week. But we're gonna take one more for the people. We'll maybe take some more next week. Live in 5 pod. The age-old debate. Would you rather have a gay son? Hold on. I gotta read this. At Live in 5 pod, the age-old debate of a gay son, thought daughter. But let's restrict it to a good Midwestern city, as in the whole town knows. Dive into the analytics. So I think he's asking, would you rather have a gay son in a small town or a daughter that's, getting around like a merry-go-round in a small Midwestern city? Now listen, nothing wrong with having a gay son. Nothing wrong with having a daughter that likes to whack.
No.
But when you're living in Conservativeville, both measures can be tough. I'm going to say I'd rather have a gay son.
Yeah.
I think just for me, it would be tough as a dad to be like, fuck, Stacy's banging the whole high school. And I got to hear about this from my, not only my son, there's other students coming over that know about it. There's parents. It's just like, can you just close the legs a little bit?
You don't know if one of your buddies just tapping it.
Right.
That one's a no-brainer to me. It's the gay son.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want my gay son to be talking like a fairy. I don't like when they do that. But if you're just a normal gay dude, I don't really care.
No.
But the daughter getting around town, if you're in a small town, that gets dicey.
That would be tough. Yep.
Because then there's pictures going around. It ain't good.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
It's tough in a Midwest town where everyone knows, though, because those are tough towns to live in and make a mistake.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but there's also nothing wrong with whacking. But I just think I'm going towards the gay son in that one. But Auzzo, did you have a nail gun of the week?
Yeah, my nail gun of the week, I thought it was very obvious. It was Mikko Rantanen. We talked about him earlier, but I'm going to shout him out again. Just what he just did those last 2 games. I think Jordo 8 points in game 6 and 7 combined to end his former team's season. Doesn't get more nails than that.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm going to stay with the Dallas Stars. I'm going to go with the set of tits sitting behind the glass for game 7. You don't bring in a set of twins like that to not get the job done. Now, listen.
You see how many people were mad about your tweet too?
Oh, I'm still getting attacked by the...
I thought that was the funniest tweet I've ever read.
I'm still getting attacked by the he, them, they, she, her, thes. That whole crew is attacking me. Calling me.
Funny too, Jordo, is if that girl in that picture who you made the tweet about saw your tweet, she'd probably love it.
Yeah, she probably does love it.
So why do these other people care?
I have because it's the pronoun community. The people that drive 2004 Outback Subarus are completely rattled. Like, they're calling me a weirdo. They're calling me a virgin. It's like, I'm the people's insider. I got to tell you where these jammers have come from. And also, if you're sitting right behind the fucking bench, you're telling me you don't want the attention. You're telling me you don't want people to see your tits.
That's what you're doing it for.
Look at her Twitter. Her box is out on her first pinned tweet. What do you mean she doesn't want the attention? Her pussy's right there. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I got these people that are all on their high horse. I'm still getting attacked. It's hilarious. And all I keep telling them is, thank you for listening. This is a hockey show.
I love the responses.
It's so good, dude. Oh my God. Yeah. It's hilarious, but I had to give her props, and I'll take it on the chin all day from the pronoun community. Fuck, these people are weird. But it is what it is.
They're so butthurt about it. It's like,
they're so choked.
Why are you guys mad about it when the girl who he's tweeting about
wants it?
Probably loves it.
She absolutely loves it. I mean, that tweet has like almost 1 million views on it right now. It's crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to give that Natalie chick her props, her flowers, and those sets of twins. You know what I mean? The Sedins couldn't get it done. That set, those twins, they can definitely get it done. So that is my nail gun of the week. Auzzo, I'm going to go over to the People's Insider Term of the Week to wrap this week up. Episode number 85 again, folks. It is the Ocho Cinco Mailbag edition. But this week's People's Insider Term of the Week is a great one. And I texted you it so I remember it over the weekend. The People's Insider Term of the Week is birdwatcher. Now, we all know the guy that's a birdwatcher. We all know the sets of guys that could be birdwatchers. Whether you're at the YMCA, in the locker room, going to the shower, maybe using the cold tub or the sauna, or maybe you're inside a hockey locker room and you're naked. You're going from your locker, your dry stall area, into the sauna, and eventually into the showers. But there's always that one guy, whether he's on the team, he's a trainer, he could be just a random pedestrian or civilian around the shower area. He's always looking to see whose wrench is out. He's always walking by the showers. He may not even be in the showers, Auzzo. Maybe he's faking like he's doing his hair. Maybe he's fake brushing his teeth. Maybe he's putting on some deodorant. But he's always around the shower area, and he's always around where the area of the locker room where dudes are naked. And that is a birdwatcher. And it becomes evident over a season or maybe over time at a local community club where you're like, all right, this isn't an accident anymore. This guy, he's a total birdwatcher. He's just looking to see wrench. He's looking at everyone. He's looking at everyone's cocks. How do they compare to his? He's looking around. And it's like you want to call him out, but then it gets weird. And he maybe is in the shower at you a lot of times at the same time, staring at your hose. And finally, you're like, all right, man, this guy, he's a bird watcher. And everybody knows it. They all wanted to say the same thing, but they were trying to act polite. But then the group huddles in, and we're like, you know what? Let's face it, boys, we got a dude that's sitting on his back patio, basically, just looking at horns. He's like the guy just watching birds all day. He's checking dudes out. That is a bird watcher, Auzzo.
They're out there. I mean, I would say it for me, my experience, it happens more at a public gym because people aren't familiar with each other. So I think these guys are like, if I get caught, like, who cares? Because what are they going to say? Whereas if you're on a team and people know you're a bird watcher, I mean, it gets a little dicey because no one wants to be around you.
Yep.
But I just had this experience, Jordan. I was at Lifetime. And when I go in the sauna, I don't like keeping the towel around my waist. I like going full buck naked just so, I get the heat on all parts of my skin. And I was sitting in front of the window and this guy walked by and he looked through the window outside of the sauna, and I saw him. I know he saw me, and he walked by again, like 2 minutes later, looking in again. And then he comes in the sauna like 2 minutes after he walked by twice. And I know he didn't want to take a sauna.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got out of there. I was like, I got to go shower up. I don't know if this guy's going to follow me. I don't know if I was putting off maybe I like men vibe just because I don't know if he got that sense, but I don't know why. Is this my fault? Is this him? Is he testing me out? I don't know how gay guys wheel because I don't know how they can tell if another guy is gay as well because I've never dealt with that. But I don't. It was so weird, man. And then this guy was like an ultimate. It felt like he was like a sexual predator, honestly. But this guy is to a T, a bird watcher.
Yeah, that's just it. It makes it so uncomfortable when you know a dude's a bird watcher.
Yeah.
And you can call them out all you want, and they're going to actually push back and be like, you're fucking gay for thinking I'm gay. Fuck you. It's like, no, I have a pretty good body of work to even bring it to your attention. It's been a few times. There's been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instances where I've caught you red-handed and you are a bird watcher. And now I'm bringing it to you and you're going to tell me I'm the bad guy? Stop looking at my dick, dude.
I don't even think you have to be gay to be a bird watcher.
No, you don't. There's a lot
some
of
guys that just like looking at them.
Yep. No, that's a lot of the times the case, Auzzo.
Yeah.
It really is. Yep, it is. So that is the People's Insider term of the week. Folks, never be a bird watcher. Keep your eyes up, but your chin tucked at the same time. So, Auzzo, that was episode 85 with you, brother. It's always a pleasure. Tape to tape, crispy rice. And you know what? We're only a couple weeks away from the biggest test of the year, and that is the golf trip. So I can't wait to see your chin in a couple weeks here. Maybe we'll have to do some content down there. Friend of the show, Patty Maroon, sounds like he's going to be dialing us in at his golf club down there. So waiting to hear the details on that. Don't want to speak too soon, but hopefully we can get something dialed in there, and we'll go from there. But that was episode 85, folks. Mailbag edition. Auzzo J. Swish, tape to tape with you, Cap, all day, every day. Woo!